Hello and assalamu alaikum. I'm Kashif Kamran, your tutor for AA, and welcome again to the AA tips and techniques session for March 22 exams. This time, the focus tip is how you should be preparing yourself for the section B of the AA paper, which is 70% of the total marks. Let's go inside and analyze your preparing. How would you be preparing yourself for the section B of the paper? Now, preparing section B of the paper, and what is the right guidance? Now, when you're preparing yourself for section B of the paper, which is a constructed response questions, and you have 3 constructed response questions, 1 of 30 marks and 2 of 20 marks, you need to do a lot of practice. Now, still you have a couple of days before your exams on Monday. So you need to find whether you are weak in section A or section B, and then you have to allocate the time accordingly. If you think you need more practice in section A, as per my previous tip on section A, so you need to allocate time to section A then. But if you think you're more weaker on section B, then you have to allocate more time to section B over the next couple of days. Now, you have past papers available on ACCA website, and you need to do the drill of them using the practice platforms, or the ones not on the practice platform, then using the blank workspace. Now, there are a couple of questions which are available on the practice platform, so you can just directly open the question and start doing it on the practice platform. But there are some old questions which are not available on the practice platform, but you can write the answer of those questions using a blank workspace option available on the platform. So the blank workspace option is really good because you can attempt the questions in the blank workspace, which are not available on the platform, because that will give you a very good command and control of using the word processor in the actual exam. But some of the questions are available on the platform and you can do them. Now, you have to do the following questions using the blank workspace, because these questions are not available on the platform. So you can download the PDF version of these questions, and you can then open the blank workspace and you can start typing the answer on the blank workspace. The March-June 18, the September-December 18, the March-June 19, the September-December 19, and the March-June 20. So these are the questions which you have to do on the blank workspace. You have to write the answer on blank workspace because these are the one not available on the platform itself. But there are certain questions available on the platform, which is the 3 here, available on the platform: September, December 20, March, June 21, and September, December 21. So these are the 3 questions which are on the platform. You can directly do them on the platform. But the other questions, you have to make use of the blank workspace. So that's in total 8 questions, right? 5 on the blank workspace and 3 on the platform. But even if you're using the blank workspace, it's giving you the right definition of the word processor you will be having in the actual exams. And that's also giving you the right typing speed and the right control of the commands and features you have on the word processor. So practice of the past papers, right? And on the platform, that's extremely important when you're preparing for section B. Now, when you look at the section B, which is 70% of the paper, and you practice the past papers, like 7 to 8 past papers, you will realize yourself that there is a lot of repetition when it comes to the topics in section B of the paper. Now, mostly when you look at the section B of the paper, you will definitely get a question on audit risk, where you need to evaluate the audit risk like 7 to 8. Sometimes examiner says 6 audit risk, sometimes examiner says 8 audit risk. So audit risk is like a very regular feature. Every paper you open, you get a question on audit risk, right? That's number 1. Number 2, internal control weaknesses and recommendations. You have lots of questions on internal control weaknesses and recommendations in the past paper. Then test of controls is another very common area. Examiner do ask you recommending test of controls even in a question on weaknesses and recommendations. Substantive procedures have been very regular, especially the substantive procedures which comes with small case studies. Examiner give you a case study of receivable or cash and paying or payables, and then asking you to make some 5 to 6 procedures on that. Going concern, Subsequent events is a very favorite area of your examiner, and impact on the audit report, implications for the audit report. Now, these are very common repetitive areas, but remember, these are core areas of section B. So you need to analyze yourself ahead of your exams on Monday, how good I am on audit risk and practice, how good I am on test of control, substantive procedures, going concerns, subsequent events, impact on report, internal control weaknesses. If you're good, and for every area, you can see it right in front of your screen currently, if you've done something like 4 to 5 papers on test of control, 4 to 5 papers on internal control weaknesses, 4 to 5 papers on audit risk, subsequent events, going concern, impact on report, you're strong. So because you know these topics reoccur, and there is a very, they frequently reoccur in section B. I would not say these are like, you get them in every single exam setting, but I'm not wrong in saying that this is a regular feature of section B. So this is where you have to be strong to pass the section B. But in the section B, beside these topics, you do get some knowledge questions, examiner directly asking you a question for 4 marks or 6 marks. What are those common areas which tends to reoccur in terms of knowledge? For example, auditor and management responsibility for fraud is a very common question, or auditor and management responsibilities for laws and regulations is a very common area. Inherent limitations of internal controls for like 3 marks, 4 marks. Preconditions of audit has come very regular. Terms of an audit engagement letter, defining the materiality or differentiating between the overall materiality and the performance materiality, definition of a flow chart, definition of a narrative note, definition of a questionnaire, how you document the internal control system. What are advantages and disadvantages of flow charts and narrative note and questionnaires have come very frequently in the past papers. What are benefits of audit planning? Why analytical procedures are used at the 3 stages of audit? So these are, these are list of questions which have been very repetitive when it comes to knowledge testing in the section B. So section B is not it's not entirely case study. Some of the parts in section B gets connected to the case study. I've given you the list of that here. But there are certain elements in section B where directly the knowledge is tested. So you need to be very good on that. So try to ensure ahead of the exams on Monday, where are you standing in terms of these areas? Where are you standing in terms of practice of the section B? How much practice have you done for section B? And then you need to define in the remaining time you have, should you be giving time more to section A and less to section B, or more to section B and less to section A? So this is it, how you are preparing yourself for section B of the AA paper for your success. This is Kashif Kamran signing off from the Tips for AA March 22 exams, and I'll see you back with another interesting tip. Take care, goodbye, and Allah Hafiz.